So yesterday we combined both the pod and node code. What is node code? What is load balancer? What is cluster code? Right? So how you can create the we combined with the combined manifest file for pod and service. So pod service.aml. This is the file. In this file we provided the pod container. So container will take from the Tomcat next to load balancer. So we are using load balancer. So right, once we created the pod and service, so then we expose it in the outside of the network. So then we saw it the Tomcat is installed. Tomcat is installed and deployed. So the next is delete all the Kubernetes components we have created. So how you can create the Kubernetes components like a pod or a service, whatever it may be. How you can delete so you can delete by using the kubectl delete all hyphen hyphen I all. Understood? Guys, prime.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what we discussed about the
Pod service, load
pod
balancer.
service.
What? Load balancer.
Yeah. So we discussed about the pod service namespaces. We did not discuss it, right? So
Yes,
today
sir.
we'll discuss about the namespace and the replication controller, replica set, daemon set, deployment, stateful set, config map, secrets, and ingress control. So these are the topics we are discussing now. Namespaces. So what is that? Name spaces.
Namespaces.
So what is services? What are the services available in the Kubernetes services? What are the services? Why do we need to use for service?
Port, node
Hmm?
ports. Load
Hmm?
balancer.
Yes, node port. Load balancer. Hmm. Tell me. So what we are discussing today? So we are discussing today. Okay. So what we are discussing today, guys? We are discussing about Kubernetes name spaces. Kubernetes namespaces. Okay, so Kubernetes namespaces. So what is Kubernetes namespaces? Namespaces are equal to packages in the Java. What is that? So packages in the Java. Namespaces are used to group our Kubernetes components logically. What is that? Logically, namespaces are used to group our Kubernetes components logically. So components components namespaces are used to group our Kubernetes components logically. So what are those? So for example, what pods we have? So we have a What pods we have? So we have app before we what we call it as a app pods, app servers, DB servers. Now we call it as a app VM, DB VM. Now we call it as a app pod, DB pod. So app pod something like BlueJTech dot app hyphen ns. Ns is nothing but a namespace. So what we call it as a DB pods. What is that? DB DB pods. What are the DB pods? So DB pods are something like BlueJTech hyphen DB hyphen ns. So these are the pods, component app pods, DB pods. App pods is nothing but a so BlueJTech app NS. DB pods is nothing but a BlueJTech DB NS. These all are the namespaces. Namespaces are used to group our Kubernetes components logically. Kubernetes components logically, right? So we can create multiple namespaces in Kubernetes cluster. So in we can create multiple namespaces. What namespaces? For example, I need to create a for the all the app pods. I need to create all the DB pods. So we need a namespace for app, namespace for DB. For example, for example, in our banking, right? Banking there is a savings bank, insurance bank, and loans bank, right? Loans. So these all are the three namespaces. So one is savings, another one is insurance, another one is the loans. Okay, insurance, loans, and these all are the three types of namespaces. So in here, namespaces are used to group our components logically. Namespaces are used to group our Kubernetes components logically. App pods, BlueJTech app NS, DB pods, BlueJTech DB NS. Okay, so we can create multiple namespaces in cluster. We can create multiple namespaces in cluster. So for example, so what is that? BlueJTech apps NS. What is that, guys? BlueJTech apps NS. BlueJTech apps DBNS. DBNS, etc. What is that? DBNS. DBNS, etc. Okay. So what is that? Namespaces are logically isolated with each other. What is that? Namespaces are logically isolated with each other. Isolated with each other. So right, node guys. So what is the node? Node is nothing but a when we delete. So when we delete a namespace, all the components. So when we delete the namespace, all the components, all the components created under that namespace. Under that namespace will be deleted. Everything will be deleted. For example, in the namespace we have a so what we have? So we have a pod, we have a service, right? Everything. So when we delete namespace, all the components created under that namespace will be deleted. Under that, all the under that namespace will be deleted. Components will be deleted under the namespace. So what is that? So get we can get K8s namespaces using below command. So we can get Kubernetes namespaces using below command. So what is the command, guys? What do you see for the services? kubectl get svc. How to see the pods? kubectl get pods. Right? How to see the nodes? kubectl get nodes. How to see the namespaces? What is that, guys? So kubectl, the command is kubectl get ns or get ns or $kubectl kubectl get namespace. Okay, get a namespace. And in Kubernetes, we will have below namespaces by. So in Kubernetes, we will have a below namespaces by default. So what are the default namespaces? So right. So we can create our own namespaces, or we have a some default namespaces also there. So what are those default namespaces? So for example, default namespace is default. So what is the second one? Second one is cube hyphen public. What is that? Cube hyphen public. What is that? Cube hyphen public. Next, the third one. So third one is cube hyphen system. So fourth one is cube hyphen node hyphen links. So these are the namespaces by default. Default cube public, cube system, and node release. Okay. So note guys here. Note. So when we create Kubernetes component without using namespace. So when we create the Kubernetes component without using the namespace, then Kubernetes consider will consider default will consider default namespace further. So here we created the pod service ML. So here, so what they consider as a here, we did not mention any namespace here. So that's the reason it taking as a default one. It is so when we create the Kubernetes component, which components we created? We created the pod component and we created the what is that guys? Pod service. So without using the Kubernetes component without using the namespace, then Kubernetes will consider as a default namespace for that. Default namespace for that. So what are that kube public? So these are the node two. So this is node one. So in the node two, kube public, kube system and used by Kubernetes clusters. What is the kube public kube system and the kube node release namespaces will be used by Kubernetes cluster. Kubernetes cluster. We should not create our own Kubernetes components in these three namespaces. In these three namespaces, so we cannot create our Kubernetes component. We should not create our Kubernetes components in these three namespaces. Okay, understood. These three are the used by the Kubernetes cluster. Kube public, kube system, kube node release. Namespaces will be used by the Kubernetes cluster. We should not create our Kubernetes component these three namespaces. These three namespaces. How you can get it? Namespace equal to kubectl get ns or kubectl get ns, kubectl get ns or kubectl get namespace. Kubectl get a namespace. So what is this? So command to get Kubernetes components. How to get the Kubernetes components? kubectl get all. kubectl get all. something like what is that? Get Kubernetes components of given namespace. Given namespace. What is that, guys? So kubectl get all information namespace. To get the Kubernetes components of the given namespace. So we can use the Kubernetes kubectl get all -n namespace. Hyphen n namespace. So example kubectl get all -n system. You see? So get Kubernetes components of the given namespace. What are the components we have? Pod, services, replication controller. Those are the services will be stored in this command. Kubectl get all -n namespace. This is the system, right? Kube system is used by the Kubernetes system. It will shows the day false. So what is that? So it is highly recommended to create our Kubernetes components under the custom namespace. What is that, guys? It's a highly recommended. It is highly recommended to create our Kubernetes components under custom namespace. Custom namespace. Is understood? So how to create a namespace? What is that? Create names. Create a namespace. So what namespace? kubectl create image usetek and kubectl create ns kubectl create quad kubectl create ns usetek ns. Okay. We can create a namespace using manifest YAML manifest YAML also. So what is that, guys? So namespace using manifest also. So what is it, guys? Hyphen API version. What is API version? V1 kind. What is the kind? Namespace. What is the metadata? So metadata name Logitech ns. Logitech ns. What is this? Three dot is the hyphen is the starting. Three dots is the ending. API version V1 kind equal to namespace metadata name Logitech ns. Logitech ns. Understood? So how to apply, guys? kubectl apply hyphen f manifest dot yml. What is that? Manifest dot yml. kubectl apply hyphen f kubectl apply hyphen f manifest dot yml. Right? So we can create the namespace by using kubectl. So kubectl create ns Logitech ns, or we can create namespace by using manifest also. Okay, by using manifest also. So right, guys, understood? So what is this? Next is creating card and service under custom skills. Under the custom namespace. Another custom name space. So how you can create, guys? So we can create custom name space. We already created, right? So this is the one pod and service, combining with the pod and service. Okay. So this is nothing but a pod and service combining. So this is the a pod and service combining pod and service. So ocean equal to API ocean. So we need to provide. So before this, right? API version v1 kind equal to namespace and metadata equal to what is that, guys? Logitech NS. Logitech NS here, right? Logitech NS. So v1 pod. So metadata labels containers. So containers, when we can get this container and service and the service, right? Service file. Yeah. How you can apply this? You know what is this? CTL. Like type in F manifest dot manifest and okay. CTL. CTL get all. N. What is that? Logitech and use. What is the next one? Logitech get parts. Get parts icon with Logitech NS. So here we just change the Logitech get parts icon here. Logitech NS. So next service. Next service. Get space service hyphen in Logitech NS. Keep serial get SVC. Keep serial logs coordinate coordinate name. What is it? How to delete the keep serial delete in this Logitech NS. So we'll delete the Logitech NS. Guys, understood? Guys, so we'll show you
Yes, sir.
tomorrow the practicals, guys. Now you understood the namespace, right? So you created a namespace like as a user tech NS. In the namespace you created what you created. You created a pod, and you created a service. Created a pod and a service. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
So what we learn as of now,
Service pods
pods,
namespace.
services, cluster IP, network, and mobiles. Very good.
సార్
So that is
యాప్
the
సంబంధించి అన్ని కూడా నేమ్ స్పేస్ ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేసి అందులో పెడతారా సార్?
hmm?
యాప్ సంబంధించిన కాంపోనెంట్స్ అన్ని నేమ్ స్పేస్ ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేసి అందులో పెట్టాలా సార్?
There is a one thing.
యాప్ యాప్ పార్ట్స్ అని చెప్పారు సార్.
ఆ అపార్ట్స్ మొత్తం ఒక దగ్గర పెట్టుకుంటే దాన్ని ఒక నేమ్ స్పేస్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు మనం మైక్రో సర్వీసెస్ చెప్పుకున్నప్పుడు ఫ్లైట్స్ ట్రైన్స్ బస్సెస్ అని చెప్పుకున్నాం మేక్ మై ట్రిప్ లో.
ఎస్ సార్.
సో ఈ బస్సెస్ అనేది ఏంటిది
సర్వీస్.
ఒక నేమ్ స్పేస్, ఫ్లైట్స్ అనేది ఏంటి ఒక నేమ్ స్పేస్, అంటే అండ్ ట్రైన్స్ అనేది ఏంటి ఒక నేమ్ స్పేస్. ఇప్పుడు ట్రైన్స్ లో ఏముంటాయి అన్నిటికీ కామన్ గా టికెట్ అనేది తీసుకుంటాం బస్సు ట్రైన్ ఫ్లైట్ రైట్. సో తర్వాత సో స్లీపరా లేకుంటే సంథింగ్ లైక్ సో ఎలా అనేది మనం బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ డిసైడ్ అవుతాం. దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ నేమ్ స్పేస్. నేమ్ స్పేస్ షుడ్ ఏ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సో బ్లూజే టెక్నాలజీస్ కంపెనీ ఇన్ హైదరాబాద్, ఢిల్లీ, ముంబై, కల్కత్తా. So Hyderabad is one namespace, Mumbai is one namespace, Delhi is one namespace, and Kolkata is one namespace. Now you understood the namespaces, right?
If we
Okay.
delete name space, everything will be deleted, sir.
పాడే ఉండొచ్చు పాడ్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ క్యూబర్నెటిస్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఏమి ఉన్నాయి. సో క్యూబర్నెటిస్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ అన్ని కలిపి ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేసి దాన్ని నేమ్ స్పేస్ దానికి ఒక నేమ్ స్పేస్ ఇవ్వచ్చు.
Okay, sir.
ఓకే. సో నేమ్ స్పేస్. సో we discussed as of now parts, services, నేమ్ స్పేసెస్. అండర్స్టూడ్?
Yes, sir.
అండర్స్టూడ్?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next we will discuss the components and resources are replication controller, replica set, deployment, stateful set, daemon set. So we'll discuss these guys. Okay. So I will show you this practical tomorrow and so tomorrow we'll show you the remaining components and the resources, replication controller, replica set and deployment and stateful set and daemon set. So what is replication controller? What is replica set? Okay. What is replica center? What is deployment? What is auto scaling? Deployment strategies. Deployment strategies. Blue green deployment model. Okay. Config maps and secrets. Config map manifest. Secret map manifest. So we'll discuss about all these things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Which time, sir?
Helm chat. What is Helm chat? What is ELK? We'll show you. We'll show you
Ingress
on the next
controller.
lessons. Huh?
Ingress controller, what is sir?
Ingress controller. Yeah, we can cover ingress controllers. Hmm?
Okay, sir. 8 time,
Hmm.
sir. Tomorrow.
Hmm?
Tomorrow, which time?
Tomorrow 3 to 4 only. 3 to 4 or 4 to 5. Hmm? Tomorrow
Okay,
we
sir.
have a office, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.